Well, hello, and we're back. This is video number 2. As you saw in the intro video, we're going to be talking about Noah's genealogy, going through each of the sons, going through why it's pivotal to know the genealogy, because it sets up the story that we all know and have come to, which is the reason for Yeshua, or Jesus, to have to come forth into our world. That's right. It starts all the way back there. It starts all the way back from when time reset the second time. So we know that Adam coming in with Eve, offspring, that was the first part of creation. After seeing all of the debauchery that was going on in the land, Yehovah Elohim decided to reset everything and brought the worldwide flood that eliminated things and reset with the family of Noah. So you're talking about Noah, his 3 sons, Japheth, Shem, and Ham, or Japheth, Ham, and Shem. I do it in order. And then the wives, the animals that were told to be upon the ark, and so forth. So we're going to be looking in depth at each of the sons' genealogy and do the roadmap towards Christ and why the Savior of the world needed to come in and do what he did. Okay, so let's begin. All right, so today we're going to be talking out of Genesis chapters 10 and 11. So up to this point, we know that we've had the creation story. We've had different things happening in the land. We've had just some pivotal things, right? But we know who God is now. We know who Yehovah Elohim is just by looking through those first 9 chapters. So if we go back to chapter 9, we know that Elohim blessed Noah and his sons. He said to them to be fruitful and increase and fill the earth. That's chapter 9, verse 1. And then from there, we know that that command that was given to Adam and Eve in the beginning is now given out again. And that is to be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth, and all that good stuff. So God still had the same thing on his mind, right? When he first brought in human beings, Adam and Eve, he wanted that communion, that intimacy with him as creator, right? And then when it fell and broke apart, it needed to be restored. And he didn't immediately do it, so not directly right after they ate from whatever that fruit was that had the goodness of they had the knowledge of good and evil, but he allowed time to pass, and they started a type of worship unto God, which was sacrificial, right? Where they had to sacrifice animals, a certain kind of animal, do this and work this kind of way and eat like this and whatever. All that was put in place to keep the door open, as you can say, with Elohim, with God. And even though that was happening, they still had the chance for you as a person, the choice to be corrupt. So then it got away. It got away, right? We had the first murder, which was from the boys, from Cain and Abel, that whole scenario. we had a lot of stuff happen that had never happened in the ground, right? Or in the physical realm of earth that kind of started opening doors to other things to come in. And so as we're going through and going through and going through and going through, we come up on to Noah. And Noah was chosen, right? Why was Noah chosen? Because Noah knew Elohim and feared Elohim. He didn't just say, let me live the way I want to live on the land of my fathers. He was like, I want to bless and get to know my creator. And that's what he did, right? So as we go a little bit before even chapter 9, before we go into chapter 10, before we go into chapter 11, we knew that when Elohim was giving the direction to Noah, when he gave the direction to him, he told him to build this ark. All right. And then commanded these creatures to come to go up on this ark and gave different numbers. If it's a clean animal, you could have this many pairs. If it was an unclean animal, you had to have this many pairs. Make sure that you had everything. So he was like, dude, when you're talking about being a shepherd and a keeper, we never think of that, but Noah was a shepherd. Okay, hold that point. And you know what I'm getting at, because we always call, we always talk about the good shepherd, right? And when we look at these people in the Bible, Moses and Jesus and the nativity story, so say, which we're going to dive into that and the realness of that and rethinking tradition. We always talk about the scriptures about him being the good shepherd, the good keeper. In this moment, when Noah had to build this ark, and then he had to go aboard this ark with his family and those animals, he became the head shepherd. He was the good shepherd. Elohim entrusted Noah with life, the life of the earth. Do you not understand how important that is? That he gave this family, Noah in particular, because he's the head of the house, the job that he gave Adam in the beginning of creation. And that's why I call this creation number 2, the creation story number 2, because the first Adam was given dominion over everything. And he took care of the animals, and he took care of, the garden, the east part of the garden where he was placed. And when we get to this pivotal moment of the ark, you have Noah now taking care and having dominion over all the animals and all the things that need to be necessary in order to bring back a resetting of the clock in the land. He was the shepherd of it all. Okay, so now we're about to dive into leaving the ark. The dry land has been found. Let's talk about where this stuff landed too, because that's very important also. We know that the ark has landed on what? Mount Ararat. Ararat is in where? Present day Turkey. They literally have found Noah's ark sitting in the same exact spot on which it landed. So that can tell you right there that this Bible is not a lie. These scriptures are true, and I will be putting and inserting pictures where I can to show you the physical evidence that we now possess, that we can go fly on a plane, a train, a bus, a car, and touch with our own hands and see with our own eyes. Don't let the world fool you in thinking that this is a fairy tale that we believe in, because it is definitely not. So much it is not a fairy tale that when Yehovah told the people, do not destroy the ancient treasures of my fathers, it was just for a time as this, because now we can take everything that has been preserved as ammunition along with this book right here and say, well, this book told me where to go find it. And guess what? It was there. This book gave me the directions to a certain place, and guess what? It is there. Because he said, do not destroy the ancient treasures of my fathers, and they did. So now we have all the evidence to concur, to agree with this right here. Do your research. Don't just trust my words. I'm a person just like you're a person. Go look it up for yourself and be amazed. Here we go. The genealogy of the sons of Noah. And remember, I told you in the last episode, I did a whole genealogy. So I have this page here. It's the genealogy. It is literally starting off with Noah, through the 3 sons. I know you can't see it real well. I mean, I was pinpointing because open the eyes of the blind. It just opens the eyes of the blind. It makes everything that happened from this point on, after they got off the boat and after they started having generations come forth, it makes it all make sense in a way we never thought of because we weren't taught that way. Here we go. Chapter 10, verse 1, it says, and this is the genealogy of the sons of Noah. You have Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and the sons were born to them after the flood. Now the sons of Japheth, who is the elder brother, he is the oldest one, are Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Yawin, and Tabul, and Meshach, and Tiras. Now there's a reason why it's very just like, these are the sons of Japheth. Not really giving much detail right now. They don't need to have detail right? Then from there, it goes on to give the genealogy of one of Japheth's sons, Gomer. And Gomer, verse 3 says, and the sons of Gomer was Ashkenaz, and Rechab, and Togarma. And then it goes down to another son of Japheth. So that was the sons of Gomer. Then in verse 4, it goes to the son of Yawin, which is one of the sons of Japheth. Gomer was the firstborn, and then Yawan was the fourth, right? The thing about that they give us the genealogy of the firstborn of his sons, and then they go down to the fourthborn of his sons. And it says, and the sons of Yawin are Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. Let me hold myself, okay? Then this is the pivotal part, because as we go, 10 and 11 works together, right? 10 and 11 works together. Verse 5 of 10 says, now from these, the coastland peoples of the nations were separated into their lands, everyone according to his language, according to their clan, into their nations. I want you to underline that. Underline chapter 10, verse 5. Because right there it's telling us that if you are one of Japheth's people in the genealogy, and as we go through, it says that these are the coastland people. If you look in the King James version of the Bible, it says from the Isles of the Gentiles, the islanders. So these are your islanders. These are the ones that go off in the little bitty islands and say, hey, might have sandy beaches or trees in the forest. They're the islanders. Now, after verse 5, that's all they give us for Japheth. Now, he's the elder. And all they gave us was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They gave us 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, watch what happened with verse 6. Verse 6 comes in with the second born of Noah. And these are the sons of Ham. Ooh, I hope y'all are writing this down, because this is it right here. We're going to talk about Ham's people in detail, because blow your mind. And these are the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Kenaim. And the sons of Cush, which is the firstborn of Ham, are Seba, and Havilah, and Sapta, and Rama, and Saptika. And the sons of Rama, now Rama is one of the sons of Cush. Okay, so you see what they did there? They did Ham. We talked about Ham's firstborn, which is Cush. And then they're talking about Cush's fourth born. That one and that four, I'm telling y'all. And these are the sons of Rama, which is Sheba and Dedan. And Cush brought forth Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in all the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Elohim, before Jehovah. Therefore it said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Jehovah. And in the beginning of his reign was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, and the land of Shinar. From that land he went to Ashur and built Nineveh, or Nineveh, right? And Rehoboth, Ir, and Calah, and Resen between Nineveh and Calah, the great city. And Mithraim, who was a son, right, of Ham, Mithraim brought forth Ludim, and Aramin, and Lehebin, and Netzaim, and Pastrium, and Calicium, from who came the Philistines and the Captorum. And then Canaan brought forth Tisbin, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite, and the Hivites, and the Archites, and the Sinites, and the Oradites, and the Tesmarites, and the Hamdanites. And afterward, the clans of the Canaanites were spread abroad, and the border of the Canaanites were from Tisbin, as you go to Gerar, as far as Isaiah, as you go to Sodom and Amorah, or Sedom and Amorah, Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah and Zeboim, as far as Lasha. And these were the sons of Ham, according to their clan, according to their languages, in their lands, and in their nations. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna go back to this lovely thing I did here. As you can see, let's see, focus. There we go. Now, yes, it's people. They mentioned just a little bit. But Ham people, they mention a lot, right? So yes, its people went from 2 to 5, and Ham's people went from 6 all the way through to 20. Now I ain't no food, but if you give me a lot of detail, there's a reason why it needs to be given. And this is the thing we skirt around. We don't like reading through names, right? As Christians, the Christ followers. When we do Bible studies, when we talk about it in church, a lot of people skip over the name. Oh, here come a genealogy list. Okay, now let me skim through the, let's go down to where it ends. Because you don't pay attention to the names. It's just the names of the people and who they came from and that. But this is very important. Very important. These names that are here are not just names. These names are of people who started cities in the new creation. You have to remember the earth was wiped out through a flood. And after the flood came, they all inhabited one place as a big, huge family. And that's why I tell you 10 goes with 11, because in the events of 11 is why 10 is written. There's a reason why they said, well, yes, the people are going to be the islanders, the coastland people. And there's a reason why they're saying that Ham's people are spread around from this region to that region and this region. And when we get to Shem, there's a reason why Shem's people are going to be known as a certain type of people as well. But what we fail to realize is these are the inhabitants of the new earth. So it's pivotal where their feet land, especially when they're scattered. Especially because we're going to go into why Ham's people are really laid out. We got to go back. There's a reason for all of this. So the next time you see me, we're going to deep dive into Ham's line. We're going to start off with Ham because Ham line sets up the story for everybody, basically. This story sets up the stories of all stories. Ham's line sets up the story of how we get to the place where we have to come to know Yeshua, Jesus Christ. And let me say this, and Yeshua did not come from Ham's line. He came from Shem's line. But it's because of Ham's line that we needed all this to happen. So we're going to deep dive into it. I'll see you.